Aloha Hempsters! It is I, Hempress Hill, coming at you with another lock video. And today I want to just have conversation and see where my people are at, see where all my subscribers are at, and really get to know you all from another perspective. So I'm asking that you leave your journey in the comments. Let me know how long you've been growing your locks. Let me know any questions that you have about my locks and anything that you want to share, any tips or tricks that you've learned in your journey. And let's just keep this thing going. I'd like to make a video dedicated to my subscribers, so go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. Getting right into things for today, as you can see from the title of this video, I want to talk a little bit about the process of growing locks and things that you may or may not experience in your growth journey. And I would like to say that these things are normal. I think that everybody's circumstances are different, so definitely take that based on how you feel and other research you've done. I remember when I first started growing my locks, I reached a phase and they kind of just grew like outward rather than downward. It took a while for them to drop. And any of the thinner locks, they would start to bead at the very end. And it was almost like there was nothing that was keeping that bead. It was literally just hanging by a thread. And I usually just let them hang. There's times when I just felt the urge to like pull it out, but most of the time I just let those fall or eventually grow into other locks. I never took the time to try to repair it or anything like that, but I think this is something that you are going to commonly experience throughout your growth journey. Outside of the norm, I would say that when you are using hair products, this could be very drying to your hair, and that could also cause a similar reaction. Also, if you are twisting your hair a lot, eventually it is going to thin out. And most of my locks that have broken at the end, it started with where I was twisting it during that first year. Those were the first to break off. So now, as my hair gets longer, it does start to thin out. So I don't know how long it will take for this to fall off, but it's pretty strong at this moment, as you can see. But eventually, I see this falling out and thinning out. So the question is what to do about thinning locks. And my best advice is to let that shit fall out. If you save it, definitely look into the crochet method or combining and those other things that you can do to save your locks. But your hair is constantly growing, so anything that falls out is likely going to grow back. So it's not that important for you to save or to remedy these locks that fall out. And that's just a thought. I think that everyone has their best discretion and preferences on how they want to maintain and save or not save locks. But if you're asking me, I say just let that shit fall out. Eventually it may even grow or merge with other locks, so that's something else to consider. So even though you may be experiencing it in the moment, it's not necessarily going to be a long-term factor as your locks start to get longer, get thicker. I know that there are people out there that experience thinning hair. A lot of times that comes with age, and we can do a separate video about that, but as I always say, you know, take care of your locks from within. You know, your body is the foundation for what is growing out of your hair. And if you're not feeding your foundation accordingly, you can't expect it to flourish long term. Now, I do have very thin hair, believe it or not. If you have seen me without locks, you would testify to that and know that my textured hair is, I would say, between a strong 3C to 4B, and that is like different areas of my hair have different textures, and I think that's pretty normal for most people. I may even have a patch of 4C somewhere in the mix, but just know that my hair is actually very thin. So the way that my locks have grown are a complete attribution to my thin hair quality. If they were thicker, they would probably grow a little more outward. I would probably have more than 10 locks in my head, or I would have less locks, but they would be thicker. So I do have naturally thin hair. But I just want to point out the correlation between losing hair, thinning hair, and age. A lot of times when we are reacting to things that we may have an intolerance to or that our body can no longer handle, it affects us as we get older. The best way that someone explained intolerances to me is, imagine having a cup. And each time that you have something that you are intolerant to, part of that in the digestion process goes into this cup. And eventually, hence age, this cup reaches a capacity. So now everything that goes into this cup after it's reached the capacity is overflowing into your body and affecting you negatively, and that's when you experience things like celiac disease later in life, or a shellfish allergy, for example, or a peanut allergy later in life. So this isn't something that just happened overnight. It is something that's accumulated over time. And once that cup is full and starts to overflow, it reacts differently in everybody. So this may show up in some people as a form of diabetes. This may show up in other people as another autoimmune disease. This may show up in some people as alopecia when you have hair loss. So sticking to the subject of thinning hair and hair loss, it is likely that this is just something that has, been constantly happening over time as you ignore these intolerances. So that is just something to really think about. Prevention is key. I'm not saying that you can't work backwards, but if you've reached a point, your hair is thinning, your hair is falling out, and you continue to feed it the same way, it's not fair to expect things to turn out any differently. I know that there are ways that you can thicken your hair. I've heard people mention castor oil and things like that, and those are different remedies that can definitely help. But in terms of prevention, I suggest that you take advantage of this knowledge that I'm giving you and start to make a change and find out what works best for you, for your body. There's a book out there called How to Eat Right for Your Blood Type, and I think that that is a very brilliant book. It just makes sense in terms of attributing the way that our digestive and our bodies function based on our ancestry and the way that we grew up once upon a time. And it's amazing to see how we've evolved and we've come to this one-size-fits-all standard American diet that is present in elementary schools as a reference for how we should eat. And on that chart is dairy, and most, if not all, people of color are lactose intolerant. You are not supposed to eat dairy. There are people usually of lighter complexion, that can handle and tolerate dairy differently. So to suggest that that should be a substantial part of nutrition, that is part of this systematic bullshit that we've been taught from an early age, and that just keeps us in this place where our generations are suffering, and we have these poor examples based on what works for another ethnicity does not necessarily work for everybody. So I think it's really important to learn that and to understand that, and to be able to know what an intolerance feels like, to be able to understand how your body is reacting to something. So going back to the lock thing, prevention is key. If your hair does start to thin, just know that that's not necessarily not normal. It's part of the growth process. Other things that can cause your hair to thin is the way that you sleep. I definitely sleep on the side a lot, and all of the friction from the pillow very well caused this. I did a video not too long ago where I was brushing my lock. That could have also caused it, but just 3 weeks prior, you know, I had a pretty strong foundation for my new locks that were growing. So you can see that this one is doing okay. I don't know what it's gonna look like in 3 weeks from now. But if it does thin out and fall out, you know, I'm okay with that. Like right now, you can see that these are literally hanging on by a thread. No, I'm not about to get a crochet needle and try to fix it. But, you know, that's just my preference. I'm gonna let it do what it does. Maybe it'll grow together, maybe it'll fall out, but believe me, it's not gonna affect my length and the overall foundation of my locks. So the point I'd like to get across is to be patient and trust the process. Alright y'all, so that's our video for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, and until next time, peace. A few of y'all have asked me about my hemp beanies. Those are available on my website, as well as this awesome shirt that I'm wearing. Get it while it's hot. You don't want to be missing out on a lot, and you already know that this is another thought on this video, so let it go, let it blow. About to put on another show until it's time for me to go and hit the stove. I come through with rhymes for show. Don't take me too serious. You never know where this career may end up going. I just made another song. Alright y'all, that's officially it. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, peace.